Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Taco Grows Everything, part 3. Let's get to the seedlings. So this is a white-fleshed dragon fruit group of seedlings from a white-fleshed dragon fruit that I previously bought, purchased from a health food store and ate. Now, those things are completely full, like completely ridden with these seeds. And the things, as soon as you eat the dragon fruit, you have to eat this, or not eat the seeds, you have to plant the seeds. So, let's just run through it step by step. Step 1, eat the fruit and extract as many seeds as you're going to need. Step 2, within a period of 24 hours or less, grab a paper towel or a napkin or whatever absorbent thing you need, even a sponge or some cotton, whatever you want that can absorb water, even dirt, preferably cactus potting mix. I'll tell you why later, unless you know what a dragon fruit plant is. Well, anyway, so Step 3, plant or set down your seeds in your growing medium and water them heavily. Give them heat, light, and water for several days and they'll sprout. Now, here are a couple of tips and tricks. See, I haven't transplanted any of them yet. I might be making a video about that later on, but I don't know what to do with them yet. I still have to research it, so you're just going to be learning how to get the seeds sprouted and germinated safely. Now, when you take the seeds out, the reason why I say in a 24-hour period is because that's why some people don't have success with dragon fruit seeds and then they never go back to it. What happens is these seeds dry out very quickly and very easily, and when done so, have a much, much lower germination rate, which is why I do not recommend buying them off of anywhere, because if you leave them for long enough and they're not in water, they will die. And I've heard several reviews in which people talk bad about dragon fruit plants and say they're hard to grow because they left the seeds out for too long. And then they tried it with the seeds like recently out of the plant and it worked, as mine have. Now, another tip is these things are cacti, or they're not cacti, they're related to cacti. So after these first couple of leaves open up, they're going to grow another bud in the center that will not turn into another pair of leaves, but a larger, more heavy cactus stem. It's a very odd plant. They're not only cacti relatives, so as I could call them succulents, but they're also climber vines. So if you get an adult plant and you planted it next to a wall or just in the middle of nowhere, it won't do anything. It will not thrive and it most likely will die. But if you plant it next to a fence or a trellis or, I don't know, whatever you want, a rope, some people use poles, wooden poles, and it will grow up against that thing that you put it next to that has holes in it and will weave around it. Another pro, it's not really a pro, I was thinking of pros and cons. Another tip is if you have an adult plant, which I don't, I know I said I'm only going to be covering seedling tips, but I just read this and I thought I'd include it if people are watching this for care on adult plants. If you have an adult plant and you want it to flower, I don't know how you're going to get them to flower. I guess you just have to get them to thrive. But when they do flower, if you want it to likely fruit, which is most people grow these for the fruit, you will have to very quickly pollinate the flower, the large white and yellow flower, in the 24-hour time period in which it sprouts. In those 24 hours, you must successfully pollinate the flower, or unless you have a cross-pollinating variety or a self-pollinating variety, if you have one of those, then you don't have to pollinate it. You'll just get a fruit because it will have pollinated itself. But these flowers only last for 1 day or 1 night, depending on when it blooms. So you really got to be careful when it comes to, the days that you spend with this plant. Because if you miss a day with the seeds, then they won't work. And if you miss a day with the flowers, then they'll die. And if you miss a day without a trowel, then they'll fall down and wilt. So these, believe it or not, for me were very easy, although it seems really hard to grow them. And I recommend them for anyone that enjoys cacti and succulents.